Hello, everybody. I'm Ben King. It's
I'm
Caleb.
Caleb Ash.
Yeah. First episode of our podcast that will probably last 1 to 2 episodes. But we're going to talk about the Phillies. We like talking about the Phillies, big Phillies fans. All right, let's do it. First off, we're in first somehow after that terrible series against San Francisco. That every game we should have won all three, outplayed them every time, lost 2 out of 3. But the Mets gave us help. They played awful. They lost by like 13 2 nights ago. Last night, played terrible. Grounded into a double play in the ninth with the bases loaded. Got swept in Chicago. So now we're in first place. What are your thoughts?
Chicago's not too hot this year, are they?
No, I mean, their roster's great. Spent a lot of money, but they're kind of doing the Phillies. Like what I think of the Phillies, just like not making the winning play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
never pushing it through, but yeah.
Lindor is a joke right now. He
Yeah,
is.
he,
And
well, he.
did you see him wearing that hoodie?
No, I didn't see that.
Wearing. So it's in Chicago. It's a night in Chicago. Like it's probably like 30 degrees there. Like it's cold. I get it. But when you play like a bum and you're wearing a hoodie that just like covers your hat, it makes you like lose attribute points. Like he looks so bad playing in the hood, and then it's error
Did he
after
play in it?
what?
Did he play it? Like, did he wear it while
Oh
playing?
yeah, he wore it while playing, and it looked like such a heavy hoodie and wearing him down, and then it was just couldn't get on base.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no.
I was happy watching that game last night. That was
Well, he hit his first home run of the season.
what'd you say?
Did he? He hit his first home run of the season. What?
He did have the first home run of the season, but the wind was pushing it out. Got a little help.
Mhm.
You know, he needs some luck sometimes. They still lost the game by 13. Give him one.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He has not returned to his spring training form yet.
Yeah, or Indians. God, he's been disappointment. Hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Speaking of losing, we also did our fair share of it the past couple of games. First game of the series, lost 2-0, 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Not much to talk about. It's just, yeah, just couldn't get the hit. Had bases loaded, second and third, no outs in the fourth. Moniak strikes out on 3 pitches. That was not even competitive pitches, just swinging. Anyway, game one,
Yeah.
terrible. Game two, we were up 6-4 going into the eighth, and it all unraveled, giving up 2 3-run home runs in the same inning. And it was like, Caleb, you can talk about what you thought about it.
Well, I can talk about being disappointed because when I saw the first 3 on Homer, that was the end of it for me. And then it just felt like the second one was just a slap in the face. Like, what can we do right? Nothing. It's just the Phillies. It's just how they are every year for the last 5 to 6 years.
Right. And but like the first one was Darren Ruff came in to pinch hit, the former Philly.
Yeah.
Alvarez was the reliever who came in the eighth for them. Last year was a Philly. Gabe Kapler just outmanaged Joe Girardi so badly, something he could never do in Philly. Obviously, he was the former manager of the Phillies. I'm not. I wasn't mad at Brogdon. I'm still not mad at Brogdon. He had 15 and 2/3 scoreless before that.
He's had a good season.
He's had a great season. He's due to give something up. I'm not mad at him. It's no one's fault at all. I think Girardi probably should have pulled him after the first one and not let him give up another 2-run homer because we were only down by 1 after the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's Girardi's fault. I don't know. I don't think anyone's.
You can't really point fingers at something like that. I mean, if anyone, Connor Brogdon, because he gave up a lot of base runners and ultimately the final blasts, but I mean, you can't get mad at him for one performance.
I think we might you can't get mad at the hitting. We scored 7 runs, 6 before the 8th inning, right? Harper's playing great. Bohm had a shot in that game. Like we had offense. Wheeler was shaky, but was in position for a win. And it's Brogdon's been good. I don't know. It seems like every day we can't make the play that gets us over the top to winning. It's no one's fault. I'd say maybe that would be Girardi's fault, if anyone. Like, that's his job, is you have to make the winning plays like that. I put it on the manager, but I don't know. It just, this series, if we had yesterday's game, if we had lost yesterday's game, which we almost did, that would have been. Did you
2 days ago?
catch yesterday's game at all?
It was 2 days ago.
2 days. Oh my God, the off day. You're right.
Yeah, was everything off. But no, I had to score watch that one for the most part. But I was keeping up to date with the score pretty closely and was horrified but not surprised to see another blown lead happen after we had taken an early 4-1 lead, and it looked like we were gonna hold that one for the rest of the game. And it felt like another situation where it was going to be another blown lead, and thankfully Bryce Harper tied it up pretty closely after we gave away the lead. He's been an animal this season, and
he just makes me happy, man. Like, the lineup yesterday. First, I just want to say Darren Ruff's home run was yesterday. He got on base in that 8th inning, or you know what I mean. I made that mistake. Ruff's home run was last game, but back to Bryce. His on base percentage right now, I think, is 490, I believe, for the season.
It's like four. It's high, mid to high fours, and the slugging percentage.
It's 493.
Slugging percentage is like high fives, maybe 6 even.
Slugging 625. His OPS is over 1,000.
Well over.
Yeah, over 1,100. It's like, he's so good, and he's just like, when we looked dead after we gave up 4 yesterday and lost the lead, it was like, oh, we're gonna get swept and blow 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he hit the home run, like, when he came into the dugout, like, he was emotional. Like, he was he wants it. Like, he wants to win badly. And I, as a fan, I appreciate it a lot.
And you can see, like, it's more than and he brings more than production alone to the Phillies, and he has since day one. He's every day brings the intensity. He goes out there and plays his best every single time, and he never he brings real leadership to the team that the Phillies were lacking. I mean, obviously 3 years ago before they signed him, but he really inspires them, and it would be great to see him and the Phillies turn that into something this year if they can put something together.
One thing about that I guess it's a good and a bad. He really feeds off the fans, but we're going on like, half the games you don't have your fans there, and so far on the road we're 1-5, and we're going back on another road trip. So I am a bit nervous to see how we are, like, mentally prepared for this road trip.
Yeah, I think Bryce is a little lackluster on the road too himself.
I don't know what it is. Our whole team, we don't have that pump up guy. Everyone's kind of just like to themselves.
Yeah, it does feel like that there's a bit of individuality on the Phillies roster right now, but I think Bryce is kind of that guy to bring them together. I mean, he hypes up JT Realmuto a lot. You'd like to see a guy like JT get more into the game sometimes, because it feels like a lot of time he's very stoic.
Yeah, he's not the most outgoing guy.
No, but
he's like a robot out there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see something like that from your star catcher. Just got $120 million, and who, in theory, the catcher should be one of the leaders of the infield. But I mean, that's just not who he is at this point. And he won't be that way either. So you can't really expect that from him anymore.
One great positive, switching gears here, one great positive from that last game was before the rain delay, we got up early, and it was because Mickey Moniak with his career home run, former overall pick. It made me just so happy. Just like, one, because we needed to win. Like, we needed that game. And two, like, I've heard about this guy for like 5 years. Last year when he came up, he was awful. This year he's still batting 111. It's very early. But before this home run, he was like batting 060.
Yeah, like, okay.
And it was like,
he got his first season like a day before that.
It just felt good to see like it was possible. Like, oh, I forgot, he's actually a good baseball player and was the #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But
the thing I've heard from him is, like, or around him at least, is that even when he was picked number one, he was never thought of that of like, a lot of the time, I don't know how much you know about prospect rankings, but a lot of the time, number one overall pick will shoot right up to the top. And for even Mickey Moniak, when he was picked number one, I think people saw potential in him, but he was never a guy at the top of the list. He was always kind of middle, and then he started dropping over the years and dropping, and eventually he wasn't even a top 10 Phillies prospect. And
Was
so, what do you say?
was this a bad pick? Like, I don't know much about prospects. It was. Do you think this was a bad pick by the Phillies at the time? Like,
See, I didn't pay enough attention to it 5 years ago when I was a 12-year-old, to really know what the sentiment was at the time with him. But from what I've seen, it seems like it could have been a reach. I mean, it was a high schooler, and a young guy, um, and he was not your generational prospect like a Chris Bryant or a Bryce Harper
right?
that you
Yeah.
knew was going to come up out of the minors quickly and be a star player. But um,
I'm
I mean,
looking at it right now. Ian Anderson went third, pitcher on the
mhm.
Braves. Like Nick Senzel on the Reds
That's
went
I
second.
wouldn't say it wasn't a crazy draft class or anything like that, at least not early on.
Yeah, like up top, like these Kyle Lewis 11, but like 11 picks not going one. Like,
Mhm.
all right, like maybe we missed a Anderson would have been great, but like if you wanted
It
an
was
outfielder, there was not really. It wasn't like
Yeah, but that's the thing with MLB drafts. You can't draft on position at all because you just don't know where your organization's gonna be, especially with a high school kid. You don't know where you're gonna look by the time that kid's in the majors in 2 to 3 years. You don't know what your team's gonna look like, so you really have to draft based on talent, especially number one.
well.
But
Hopefully we did, and hopefully he's great because we need it. Because
he's still
Roman
young.
Quinn
He's
is
still really young. He's 22.
he's 22, and we need him to play every day because I don't know what's up with Hazley. I don't love Hazley. I don't mind Hazley, but he left the team. I'm pretty sure he's not getting paid either. I think this is going to be a long thing. I don't know what the deal is. Hope he's fine. Hope anyone involved in it's fine. But I don't know what's up with Hazley. Roman Quinn, he's the fastest player in the MLB, but he can't get on base. His on base percentage, 226, batting .04. It's
Yeah,
awful. No extra base hits. He's got
he
hit by
should
four
he
pitches. He's
shouldn't
not
play
even
anymore.
drawing the walks.
He should be a pinch runner for the rest of the year.
I, all right, I have another question. Is it worth it to keep him on the roster every day? Because he's not a threat to pinch hit. We pinch hit. He pinch hit the other day. He went 0 for 2. I think a ground out and a strikeout. Not competitive at bats. Is it worth even keeping him on the roster?
So that's a great question. And right now, I'd say yes, because you're not really hurting yourself by keeping him up. Because who would replace him?
You're
That's my thing. Like, there's no one that would be better, at least in my eyes. I mean, there's probably people that would be better, but there's nobody that would be more valuable.
yeah. I guess you're right. I feel like this is obviously Girardi is not going to think this way, but you hurt myself by him being an option to pinch hit because then you use him sometimes and he never gets hits. It's like having him there is like tempting. Oh, maybe I want to use him because he's so dangerous when he gets on base. He never gets on base. So Moniak, regardless whether we keep Quinn on the roster or not, he's not going to be starting many games at all. Maybe one here or there.
Mhm.
But if we can get production out of the center field spot with Moniak, I think that'll be huge
He
because
can bat 225, get
right,
fewer runs.
it's
That's
just
better than nothing.
we had for like I mean we were 500 playing with we had 7 batters. It was 2 free outs at the bottom of the order. Segura had a 10-game hit streak, but some of those games he was batting seventh and he gets on base and there's no chance he can get like
Mhm.
he's just running.
That's when you get Didi or Segura and like the guys later in the lineup, when they get on base, you just don't expect anything because
Yeah,
nothing's gonna happen after that.
which
And
puts
if you get
so much pressure on the
if
team.
one of the if Segura leads off an inning and we happen to get to Kutch or Reese or someone like that, and they happen to knock him home, it's a great thing because you just don't expect anything like that.
Yeah, it's just it puts so much pressure, and they've responded. Like they've done it well. The top of the order's been solid, except McCutcheon. But
He's had a slow start, but he's had hits here and there lately.
yeah,
But I wouldn't expect him to continue to struggle.
had a nice RBI single in the Cardinals game that really blew it open.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, McCutcheon, he's had some injuries. Like, he's not the same guy. Hopefully, he can still be capable of leadoff. If not, I believe in McCutcheon. Let's just say it doesn't work out 60 games into the year. Maybe Segura. I could see him being a leadoff guy.
He could be because he's a good hitter, and he's not too slow. He doesn't strike me as a very like aggressive base runner. If you know what he like, it seems like he's a bit lazy on the base paths, to be honest.
He's aggressive when he wants to be. You were following on your phone, but that double he had, one of the games in the Giants series, was basically a single he liked for a double, but also it was his 200th career double. So
Oh yeah. I think I know that one.
I think it's a kind of a mindset thing. Like, he's capable. He's pretty fast. You wouldn't exactly expect him to be that fast based on how he's built. He can move. So I think he could be a fine one hitter if it gets to the point where McCutcheon's not serviceable anymore.
Do you think Reese ever moves out of 2?
I hope not. I like him there. I
I,
like
I
him too. If Bohm can get going, I would be okay with Bohm at 2 and Reese at 5.
I was starting to see a world where maybe Bohm starts. I mean, maybe this is a years in the future kind of thing because I don't know. Reese seems like he's. I hate to say at his peak, but I don't know how much better he's going to get. So it seems like a down the line kind of thing, where Bohm starts to take over the number 2 role because that's where I think he'd fit in.
Yeah, that's kind of Bohm's he's not really a power guy. He's kind of a get on base guy, but right now he's not getting on base that much. So he's batting 219, which is not going to kill the franchise, but at least until he.
No, but I would expect him to do better. That's the thing. Like I think he'll pick it up as the year, and I think he's probably been in his own head. He's still young. I think he's been frustrated a bit this year, and you've seen him kind of take that out at times. But I think Bohm will get to a point where he starts getting in more of a groove and maybe starts trending towards high 200s, maybe even touches 300 like he did last year.
If Bohm gets up to 280, that would be huge because again, the top guys are getting on a lot. Bohm can drive him in.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the good thing about having Bohm at 5. We know, and we've seen time and time again, he's this great hitter for whatever reason with runners in scoring position, where he has a chance to knock them in, and that's probably his value at 5. But he just hasn't done much when there's nothing on the line. Like I don't know if it's internal motivation or if he's just been struggling with his swing or something like that. But
I don't know. He's not really locking in when there's runner on first, 1 out in the 5th inning. But when it gets later in the game, he's good. Something else I'm worried about, or is notable with this team right now, is the injuries. Bradley's coming back soon, which will help because Alvarado is also out. He'll be back soon. That's a COVID thing. I don't think he has it. I think he's contact. But Matt Moore, Alvarado, Bradley, Didi, and Segura all hurt right now, which is giving some young guys a chance. And then Brad Miller went 4 for 5. But long term, it's not a good sign seeing all these important players injured so early.
No, especially when you see that Segura has somewhat of a history with injuries, and they're getting Didi and Segura specifically are getting a little more up there in age, and they're not physical monsters. They're not in really high athletic shape, so they're maybe more prone to injuries. And so it's something you worry when you see them getting injured this early, especially with just even small small injuries that don't necessarily keep them out for very long. It's just the type of thing that can build up, and you hope they don't start missing weeks or months at a time.
Yeah, the lineup card's not out for tonight yet. Obviously, game's at 8 in Colorado, 8:30 maybe. So Didi should be back this series, maybe tonight. Hopefully, it was just some swelling in his elbow. Segura, I'm worried about. It's at least 10 days, not for not this injury changing the season, but
Mhm.
he was on fire, and that streak's obviously he won't come back on that with that same like production.
Yeah.
But the pen has been blowing. He blew the last two games. Andrew Knapp, of all people, saved us in the bottom of the ninth, but the pen blew that game,
Mhm.
right? And Brogdon's good, but like he can't be the best guy. Brogdon's good. It's like the fourth best guy.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be, if we can stay healthy, when we have Eflin, Wheeler, or Nola on the mound, it should be 6 innings from the starter. Bradley, Alvarado, Neris, win.
Yeah.
That's it. We have three good guys in the pen. After that, I'm not as confident.
Yeah, and you hope that Nola and Wheeler can steal you 7, 8 sometimes, 7, 8 innings. But you just we it feels like we're still missing a piece there because Connor Brogdon can't be. I mean, he's been spectacular to start the year, but that's not sustainable. What he's I mean, obviously it's not since he just gave up like 6 runs.
Life
But
of a reliever. 15 and 2/3 scoreless. His ERA is now 7.7 after
that's
that
still
after that terrible
true.
inning against San Francisco. Last thing before we go. Going on a road trip. Colorado series starts tonight. Vince Velasquez starts tonight. Did have a great start in Colorado in 2016. They won. He was 8-2 at the time. Can't imagine Vince Velasquez was 8-2 now. We'd be a whole different team. I'm I'm a bit nervous for this road trip.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I was talking to Neil about it the other day, a friend of ours, and we were talking about how Vince Velasquez is the kind of guy that he does have great stuff. He can throw hard. He has good movement on his pitches, but it almost seems like a mixture of a control thing. He can't really control his pitches and a mental thing to the point where he'll strike out 3, 4 batters in a row and then walk five.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
he
we were at the game the other day. He came
Mhm.
in for like long relief and he had 4 strikeouts to start. It's like, oh my God, like he's insane. And then he walked 4 straight, got taken out, ended with 4 earned runs in an inning and a third. It's like, oh, that's why he's not in the rotation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, we can get 2 out of 3 in Colorado. I mean, their lineup is bad.
I think if Vince can go 5 with 2 earned runs and hopefully some lucky base runners that don't score, like I suspect he'll give up a lot of base runners. He seems like the kind of guy with that'll let up a lot of walks. He'll have a higher whip than most. But if we can get lucky with a couple jams, as you mentioned, Colorado's weak lineup, then if we can win this one tonight, I think that would be big for the rest of the series because this is the one where you look at and you kind of worry it's going to happen.
Yeah, because we after this one we have 4 in St. Louis, and that's getting 2 out of 4 in St. Louis is even 2 out of 4 is tough. I think we'll do it. We have good pitch, like we have Wheeler, Eflin, and Nola going in that series, I believe. Yeah, we do. But this series in Colorado, first time out west, Velasquez and Chase Anderson getting starts.
Mhm.
Bit nervous. Marquez is going for the Rockies tonight. The game's at 8:40, not 8.
He's their best guy, isn't he?
He's their best guy, but like
Maybe the
he
best pitcher in Rockies history.
right. I mean, his ERA is 3.57. He's good. I mean, Velasquez is a 9 ERA, but Marquez, like, I think our lineup should be hitting almost anybody. Like, if we play DeGrom or Corbin Burns, I think our lineup, at least at the top part, is pretty good. And the altitude will help as well. Like, it helps both teams, but, you know, our offense, we should have some offensive production tonight.
I'd like to see at least a home run or two in that Coors atmosphere because it really does make a difference in baseball.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, we would have had Bryce, especially that one game. He should have had 2 home runs, and the wind just took both of them
Oh
back.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like that won't be happening tonight. So
He's been making some great contact. I'd love to see him
even when he
launch
gets
one
out,
into a second deck.
I mean, he's batting 357. So like, obviously, the numbers say he's doing great. They should be better. Those two, I think you told me this. The two ones that should have gone out. One had an expected batting average of 980, and one had an expecting batting average of 990,
Mhm.
and they both got caught at the wall.
killer. When you, it's I think it's based off launch angle, exit velocity, all that stuff. But when you hit a ball that hard, and he was hitting them 110 miles an hour off the bat. When you hit one that hard, you'd expect something better because he's been making great contact with the ball lately, and he has. I mean, that's the thing. That's the reason a lot of people came in with Bryce Harper MVP predictions this year is because if you look at the advanced numbers, he's been getting unlucky the last year or two,
Yeah,
essentially.
for sure, for sure.
And
All right.
so this we'd look to turn that around.
Okay. I think we're good, but I actually just thought of something that I would like to talk about for a minute. We haven't
Mhm.
said his name yet. Maton. Nick Maton has been great in
Yeah.
the 3 games. Not just because like he's batting like I think he's like 5 for 11, 5 for 10. I don't expect him to be a 500 career hitter or anything like that.
Mhm.
But his play in the field's been impressive. I don't know if Didi's back tonight, but if Didi's not back, I just want to say that I'm a Nick Maton supporter. I think he can be on the 40-man for the season, and if there's an
Yeah.
injury in the infield, I don't know if he's capable of second base. I don't really know anything about him, but like I don't know. Segura's out. Maybe one time over the next week, instead of Brad Miller filling in, it's Nick Maton filling in at second base, and that's fine. Like I don't know. I feel like he's a good young guy who's consistent in the field, makes contact.
And you know what? He's young. He should be able to develop. If he plays short, he should be able to play second base. He should.
Right.
It's. I mean, I don't know about the major league level, but I wouldn't think it would be too hard to transition in something like that.
Yeah,
And it's like
middle infield, like he should be a capable guy. I don't know. I liked seeing it. Mickey Moniak and was just like, ugh, like at least at the beginning. Now that he hit a home run, maybe it's a bit of a different mindset. But he started 0 for 11. It was like, oh, this guy sucks. And then
Mhm.
Maton comes in, and like his mentality, he wasn't scared at all. He was like, let's go. I'm in the show.
And
Like,
he's been going for it, and he's been doing well so far. And you'd love to see it continue.
all right, I think we're good. Good. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Can't imagine anyone stayed this long, but if they did, thank you for listening or watching
You are our
our
biggest
first
supporter
episode.
of all time if you
Oh
have
yeah,
watched it.
absolutely. Ring the Bell podcast. Hopefully 4-3 over the next road trip. Probably be back after the road trip next
Yeah.
Friday. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Peace.
All right. Signing out.